Hey guys, I'm Dusty Harris.
And I'm Kayla Platt, and we are from Amazing Race Season 33, and this is Pitstop Podcast. Hello guys, and welcome back to Pitstop Podcast. This is leg 6 of the Amazing Race Season 33, and we are in beautiful Corsica, which is an island off of France, if you guys didn't know, and man, was it stunning.
Unbelievable.
I can't wait for you guys to see more of like this landscape. It was honestly so cool. But to get there, we got to go on Big Phil.
So lavish.
And again, guys, like we did not know where we were going when we got on this plane. So I don't know. That was super fun just for like, blindly going into it and
guys,
then being like, dude, where do you think we're
her
going?
and Raquel were trying every trick in the book to talk these flight attendants into giving us any kind of juice, and they held firm. I don't know about you, but flying somewhere not knowing where you're going, no one has ever had to deal with that before, I don't think. That is a whole different realm no one else has dealt with. It's crazy.
We all had our compasses out, and we were trying to, track, what direction we're going. And we're like, oh, we're over water. Oh, wait, no, that's just clouds. Oh, no, that's water.
Madness.
It was honestly really embarrassing because, God, we were so off every time. But,
Big Phil was good to us,
going
though.
into leg 6.
It was good to us.
Big Phil was great to us.
Absolutely.
Again, it's so much different, and I think you'll probably see it. We got to all be on the same plane together. So it was really one of the only times that you could kind of get to know the different teams outside of physically running the race. But as you guys can see, when we were running the race, we were running the race. You know, we weren't chit-chatting, becoming best friends.
Oh, we were chit-chatting, all right.
We'll get into that a little bit later, how friendly we became.
Oh, yeah.
Or didn't become, I guess I should say. But yeah, so leg 6, where's your head at? Going in, you guys are leaving in the first group with Lulu and Lala. But yeah, walk me through that day for you, your mindset.
So, waking up in Corsica, France for leg 6, let me tell you, I was up all night, guys. There's this perception that so in the morning, I'm standing there. We're all waiting for the leg to start, and I'm pacing like a raging bull. There's a whole bunch of emotion going on. I'm tired. I'm really thinking about my son, who I haven't seen in a while at this point. Being away from your newborn child, it's starting to become hard on me. And literally, I slept. I didn't sleep the night before because I kept waking up soaking wet. I look over at Ryan at one point in the middle of the night, and he's still awake too, and he's dealing with the same thing. So I don't sleep. There's all this stress building on me. I'm just in a horrible mood in the morning, and I just know deep down in my guts, I'm like, this ain't the way to start a leg of the Amazing Race in a funk. And I mean, I know I was giving off an aura to everyone because multiple people have talked about it. I just wanted to clear there. It wasn't anything for intimidation purposes. It was either that or I was going to start pounding my head into a wall because I was just exhausted, missing home at this point. And people just don't realize, man, by this time we're going through COVID procedures where it's an extended time between legs to make sure that everyone's safe, including, production and everyone. And so it starts to wear on you when you're not racing. That's your freedom. And so I started in a funk. Ryan, could feel it on me. I think everyone experienced it. And, I knew it wasn't going to start well from the beginning, to be completely honest with you. And so it's rough when you're in a bad spot on this show because it can compound quickly when the cameras turn on, and I'm glad they show that stuff. And so not a good start of the leg for Ryan and I, even before we start running. What were you and Raquel thinking? We, new piece of land to run around on. What's going through your minds?
Yeah, I mean, I think this podcast is going to be a little bit different. We're big boys and girls here. So I think this episode itself had a lot more emotion. And I almost don't want to use the word drama, but this was a high emotion episode.
Absolutely.
So talking about and hearing you say it wasn't an intimidation factor, it was either that or I was going to beat my head up against the wall. It's funny because I can only speak on behalf of Raquel and I, and I mean, we were there to have a good time and have fun. And at the beginning of every race, it was nerve wracking, but we would pay attention to everybody. And we did notice you. You were I didn't know, like, part of me, I was like, did something happen to his son? And again, just like you touched on it, we're on COVID protocols. Like, this show was so unbelievably safe, but with them being so safe, is we did have downtime because we had to get tested, which, like, yeah, that messes with you, man. You're locked up, and you're a ball of nerves ready to start this next race. So we were just happy to be out and about, and all right, cool, like, new country.
Air.
I didn't know where we were. I'm kind of like, I mean, you guys see it. Like, we're kind of like, I don't want to use the word ditzy, but we were just kind of like, okay, cool, like, new place. And then I'm like, whoa, something's wrong with Dusty. Like, Dusty ain't feeling so hot this morning. And it was funny because Kim was like, ooh, like, I don't know, man. Like, they're fired up. And in my mind, I was kind of like, is he fired up, or is he getting in his head a little bit? Like, this is for $1 million, y'all. So
Absolutely.
I don't know. I woke up kind of like, I've been feeling pretty consistent. I've been feeling fine, but I saw you kind of start to get in your head a little bit, or so I thought. So I took that as like, dude, like, this could be our day. Like, like, I was pretty, I don't know. I was in a pretty good headspace, unfortunately, unlike you.
Absolutely. Hey. And I feel like if you stay on the race long enough, there's always a day where something's going to get you down. And, in the back of our minds, Ryan and I are realizing we're putting together a pretty good race. We're getting down to the strongest of the strong in competition. You hear the comment, the tomcats looking for the birds. And in your mind, you're not sleeping. You're sitting in rooms. The only thing you can do is assume. And we're starting to assume that everyone is out to get us. And it's,
So why did you assume that? Because, yeah, I heard you say, like, oh, we hear the birds chirping. Like, did you hear actual chatter, or was it just, like, the alone time with just Ryan in between legs where you just, like, got in your head? Like, I'm just curious. I want to know, like, where did that come from?
I just think, like, even in mild conversation, when you sit with it long enough, you can interpret it in a multitude of different ways.
Yeah.
And there's only so many Sudoku puzzles I can do, so many books I can read, push-ups, sit-ups in a tiny little European room that you can do. And so you get deep into your thoughts with this alone time. And it's just, you start talking. We know, we're students of the game. You guys are. We understand that there's probably something coming that's going to get us. If we slip up, and guys watching this, you don't realize how competitive all these teams are that are left. And the starting times, I hear this on multiple podcasts that didn't run this. They think 15 minutes is nothing. When you're racing against these people, 15 minutes, you cannot make it up. And so keeping that first group was imperative to us, and just the stress of everything, the concerns. We think people are out to get us, and if we fall back, what are we going to do? And it's because we performed well on top of no sleep, missing my family at home. It just set up for disaster, and I think it presented itself very well when we start.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it up a couple times actually on this podcast. But like you said, the 15-minute release times, they really are like make or break, especially if you guys notice this leg was not self-drive. Now, in a self-drive, someone can get lost. You could take too long getting directions. I mean, a lot can happen. So I can see where people maybe come from a little bit with like, oh, 15 minutes isn't a lot. However, we have drivers this time, because I don't know if you guys could really tell on this episode, but we were literally driving on the edge of cliffs. Like, on the extra YouTube videos, you see me being like, oh my God. Like, I'm not a nervous person, but like, I was like, holy crap, these are sketchy roads. We are literally going up the mountain, one road, winding, like our tires are hitting the edge of sharp rocks. Like, it was sketchy. But again, with that being said, we had drivers, so if there was any mess up, it was on the detour or on the roadblocks, and dude, that's on you and your teammate.
Absolutely.
So we'll talk about it again later, but it's the 15 minutes were everything. So again, I don't know. We'll get into it. But first things first, we had to go get some goat's cheese from the Belvedere Castle. I mean, the only really thing I got to talk about on that was, one, I had a question. How were those stairs compared to the bartender race in Lugano?
I mean, at this point, I'm like, more stairs, like, Amazing Race, what are you doing to us? I'm like crippled at this point. And so Honestly, they were probably more steep. I can't say it was as long by any means, but the grade
Yeah.
of the hike up was damn near straight up. And how beautiful is that, monument we go up to? I think Phil said it's like over 700 years old and well worth the hike once you get up to the top of this lookout to grab your pail of sheep's milk, which, by the way, to you guys, is heavy. Like, kudos to you guys and Lulu and Lala for toting that thing around. Ryan and I were swapping off left and right.
Well, and I noticed you guys had your backpacks on, so did Lulu and Lala, so kudos to you guys. And again, this is where the 15 minutes come in. You guys were there, you arrived, you released together, you arrived together, you went up the stairs together, so you guys are side by side with them. And so same thing with us, was we got released with Kim and Pin and Akbar and Sherry, and so we were with Kim and Pin, but I was an idiot. I didn't take my backpack off. I don't know why. So I was like literally heavy breathing throughout that whole thing. But yeah, man, that milk was heavy. But yeah, there's so many points where like you're with who you were released with. And I have to ask, because now you're going to the detour. And before we really get into some of the decisions that were made, it was say cheese or mule please.
Yep.
And obviously watching that back, you and Dusty, or you and Ryan and Lulu and Lala, you did say cheese. So before we get into it, do you think that there's a benefit sometimes in being released in the second group? Because you guys did say cheese, and if you watch, Kim and Pin and me and Raquel arrive after you guys, and Kim and Pin are like, we're gonna switch. And we noticed, and Ryan even said it, where are the mules? It was only a couple, yards, or
so we learned later.
It was a little bit of a run. Yeah, but we were going to do the cheese, but you guys were already ahead of us and still there. So Kim and Pin were like, we're going to try the other one because it's an opportunity to possibly pass not just you and Ryan, but Lulu and Lala too. So we were like, we might take our gamble, because we were looking at it as you both were really strong teams, Kim and Pin and Dusty and Ryan, So we're like, well, we know we're behind Dusty and Ryan because you guys got released first and you were already there. So we're like, well, let's give it a shot with Kim and Pin. So again, that helped us, because obviously I think we made the right choice on the detour. But tell me about your choice, Dusty.
So when we rip the card and we realize what the detour is, I've worked in multiple kitchens. I've been around food. I'm passionate about food. I run a bed and breakfast, and so I was like, this laid out perfectly for me. I mean, this is my meal ticket. Working with a stove, my hands, this is going to be great. And if you watch the extra videos, I am listing off hundreds of different cheeses, like Forrest Gump. And the confidence is that I'm exuding, you would think I would have just gone in and whipped this together so fast and walked off. And so the reason why we chose this, and by we, I mean me, I talked to Ryan, and I believe Lulu and Lala as well into this. I think I was just exuding enough confidence to where they thought I had it. And lo and behold, guys, I did not have it. And so what this damn thing is entailing is you're using a Bunsen burner in the middle of a forest with a woman in a cave who's like giving you the things you need to do so. And it's very precise. And so everyone's like, why do they keep turning the heat up and down when we're trying to bring the cheese? And so the goal was to bring it to 60 degrees so you could pour the milk in, bring it to 85 degrees so you could curdle it and package it and take it into the cave and give them their cheese. And so ours was going from 60 to 90 to 45 to 36 up to 104. And I tell you this, guys, we had to have our pilot relit at least 10 times. This poor woman, I mean, I had her running back and forth. I just got into my head. Right when I saw Pin and Kim walk by is immediately when I asked Ryan, if everyone saw it, that we need to make a move here.
You mean like when they finished their
because
detour?
It took minimal time. It took them about 10 minutes. It seemed 15 minutes to get it done. And we'd been sitting over a fire for 20 minutes. Another thing that we did wrong was we turned the fire off right away while I was looking at the demo instead of letting it run. So that probably added another 5 to 10 minutes on it to just bring it up to temperature. Shame on me again. And so it just got to the point where we're sitting there, we're watching Penn and Kim go by. We watch you guys go by immediately. And so one of our things in the back of our mind was, one, if it's close, it's something to think about, which we then did determine it's close because you guys walked by. But two, if you're not getting better at what you're doing, which as world you saw, we weren't getting better. It was all going downhill, make the move. And so finally, after being the last one sitting there, burning up in the sun over a pot of cottage cheese or whatever we created, we made the move to the mules. And it literally it was immediate. And so our most fatal mistake to this point in the Amazing Race is that right there. And we didn't just give away a little time. I mean, we gave away over an hour in sixth place.
Yeah. And
toast.
And so I want to take enough time to go through that because one, we didn't do that challenge. And two, I mean, it was literally the majority of the episode. I mean, you guys really fell behind. So why couldn't you keep the temperature? Was it because the pilot kept going on and off, or was it because you guys, because in my mind I'm like, why do they keep stirring it? I feel like if you stir it, like the heat escapes, or like, I mean, did you even now, like, do you even know why yours wouldn't heat and everyone else's would?
It was a challenge. And listening to Penn and Kim's podcast, like, cheese takes a while. I know it didn't take that long, but it does take time. And so that's lurking in the back of my head. And I'm like, time is passing and nothing was happening. And so the pilot would go up. We just had no control over it. And then the pressure coming down on you when you're watching everyone walk away from you. We just had never had that feeling of shit, we're in trouble. Like, and guys, like, I'm a very emotional person. I think, Penn and Kim alluded to this on their podcast as well. Ryan is very even keel. Man, things can be going to hell in a handbasket, and the guy just knows how to keep his cool. When we're winning, I'm loud, man. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. It's not to be cocky or overconfident. It's just who I am. It's what I've come from. It's, I've always worked harder to be what I need to be. And it's just, but when it's bad, it can get, it runs me down. And so you're watching everyone walk away, and it's a long time we're sitting there stirring this and nothing's happening. And so just nothing went right from the beginning of the day, starting a leg, getting into the cheese. And so the decision was made to make the move, and, it turned out to be the right one. It saved us, honestly, to do it, because if we would have tried the cheese again, we would have gone home, no question asked.
Yeah. Well, and so again, and I'm not trying to like badger you, but like this is like, I feel like my time to like ask my questions, as a lot of people I'm sure probably feel at home, but I obviously get the joy of doing so. Of beating a dead horse, or a dead mule, as we should say. But so after you saw Kim and Penn finish, me and Raquel finish, like, why didn't you guys choose to switch at that moment? Because now not just one person is done with the other detour, a second person's done with another detour, and you guys aren't making any progress. Like, you guys waited to switch until there was only one team left there.
At this point, you're so far into it. We've put 30 to 40 minutes into the cheese. In our minds, we know it's not working. We know it's not going to happen. It's just, you're that far in, you cannot walk away. I'm just like, really, we're just praying that maybe it comes together.
It works itself out.
And it didn't.
Yeah.
And in the Amazing Race, you need luck. And this wasn't a task to have luck in. It's just, we butchered it. But I was just, something in me was like, maybe 5 more minutes, it'll come together. And all I did was keep getting worse and worse and worse. And we should have made the move. It was one of our golden rules. If it's not getting better, especially after that much time and watching so many people go by, we were just, caught in the moment, and it basically paralyzed us, to be honest with you. It's like we were stuck to the stirring. There was no walking away.
Well, and I do want to just say, because, I think Lulu and Lala made a comment of like, oh my gosh, like, how they're like, Ryan is so calm, and like Dusty's like losing it. And I think Lala's like, oh my gosh, I would smack my sister if she was acting like that. And I want to just take a moment, because this is a testament to Ryan and his partnership with you. The key to being successful in the Amazing Race is knowing how to work with your partner. And there are times when your partner might be struggling and you have to step up, and, you know, vice versa. Like, it's funny, like, on this one, again, we didn't have as much of a hard time because I do think it was the right detour that we chose. But, you know, I even make the joke about Coltoni, like our mules, and Raquel is like not having it. And I thought she was like mad because she thought like Coltoni wasn't clever. But really it was like, she was like, Kayla, I was so overwhelmed. Like, we couldn't, our stupid bar was
I was
upside
going to
down. It
ask
was
you
like the
about
dumbest
that.
thing.
I'm watching this, and guys, this is the first time I see anyone else doing.
Could you even notice?
I picked that up pretty quick, and I almost felt bad for you guys because it was so blatantly opposite of the left side, and that's so easy to happen in this contest. Like,
Again,
it's
like
about the
race.
It's about the
like,
macro, not the micro. Sometimes you just have to step back and see it all in one view, and it's but kudos, you guys did it.
Yeah, and then I finally figured it out. Yeah, but it's just so funny. Like, they don't really show it, but like Raquel was a little bit stressed on that one, just like I was super stressed on the flags, you know. But it's like I picked up the slack where I needed to, and like honestly, so did Ryan, and that was kind of balancing
Absolutely.
you out and be like, dude, okay, what do you want to do? I don't know. As much as like we can look back and pick apart that was definitely the wrong detour for you guys, I would like to notice the positive, and you guys did get through it together, even though you had to switch. Well, at least you guys didn't fight, or I mean, because that could have brought you guys even further, you know.
I'll tell you this right now. My number one goal on this is, he's a strong man to deal with me every day, guys. You have no idea. I am a handful. But our friendship, man, that was my number one thing that I would not get angry at him. It doesn't matter. It's so stressful. It's like, it does no good, but I just have the utmost respect for him and just everything he's been through. He could make me so angry, and I just couldn't even muster the opportunity to get mad at him, man. I just love him so much, you know, and that was important to me to not come across as fighting with my partner. And, you know, our friendship, I think, shows in this show. And that's real, guys. Like, we're
sure
tight, man. We're best buddies. And I love that, dude. I love you, Ryan.
Well,
and boy, you saved my ass later in this leg, boy. Woo!
Well, so it's so funny.
Let me ask you a question before we
segue.
Because it was said on the episode. So we're sitting there dying over the pot of cheese. You get to pass the bad boy, gruesome twosome boys for the first time. How does that feel? Because you made the note of it. So how good did it really feel?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was relishing in that moment. Like, when I ran by, I look at Ryan. Ryan is just like steel of a face, just stirring this cheese. He literally looked miserable. And then I look at you, and I mean, I literally thought your eyes were gonna bug out of your head, and you're like running from one pot of milk to the next pot of milk. And in the moment, I'm just jogging by, and I was like, yes, like, dude, this is for $1 million. You guys are a strong all-male team, not trying to make it about like sex or whatever. But I was like, bro, we need to capitalize on this moment of when you guys are struggling.
You capitalized.
I mean, you're my friend, and I love having this podcast with you, but I'm just being real. Like, I was like, I hope you guys crash and burn in that moment. That's genuinely how I felt, because it's not like, I don't want to say I didn't have the confidence that we could, like, you know, like, beat you, but it's like, there are times where teams are going to struggle, and I was just shocked to see you guys struggle. And so I was just excited. I mean, there's really no other way to put it.
I mean, we bled for the first time. It's like Rocky IV. He's human. You know, and it's on our side too. We realized it, man. We were like, man, this is they're going to be relishing in this while we're sitting here dying over the pot. And so, I mean, we got.
But with that being said, I also was very aware that because you were so far, like, behind now at this point, I knew you guys were going to come back with a vengeance. And boy, did you ever. Because now we're going into the roadblock, and it's something physical.
We begged for it.
It was Who Wants to Make a Splash. It's Who Wants to Make a Splash. Again, I didn't do this roadblock, and Raquel and I's strategy going into things were she's much more fit and strong than I am. And I was kind of like the nerdy one. Again, it's the tits and wits thing. But yeah, I'm down to do a puzzle. I'm down to do like any of like the mental
Crochet.
stuff. And so we were like, hell yeah, fuck, I'll do it. But so it was like, if we could blatantly tell that it's physical, Raquel was going to do it. Because if it was going to be something trickier, we just wanted to save that for me to do. And so, yeah, it's like when you can tell exactly what something is, and we were up in the mountains, we see these wetsuits. So it's like, we knew it was something physical. So it was a no-brainer for us that she was going to do it. And yeah, I mean, she crushed it. I wasn't there. It was really fun to watch that back. And I kind of want to just throw it to you because I love that they made a map and showed where Ryan was and how he just, it was literally like Superman
Amazing.
Came in
Saved
and
us.
flew through that thing. I mean, and again, me and you didn't do it, but like so I kind of want to know, like, how did it feel coming to that roadblock and being the last one to arrive? Because I know how it felt when I'm sitting up there with Kim and, Lala, but...
Loving life.
But I did say, I was like, dude, be positive. It was like the second I knew it was physical, like I wasn't too worried about you guys. But again, if you're stuck in your head, that's why I was like, be positive,
So,
how do you feel?
So we get into the car to make our way to this roadblock and, we're begging for something physical. We know it has to be something physical done to get us through this. And so when we rip open the clue and we realize it's canyoning, the decision immediately is made. Ryan, you're going to do this. One, my legs were still pretty shot from Switzerland. That was no joke. I was super dehydrated. It put me down. And so I just thought he would have the better chance of gaining time. But two, I was just a mess, man. I didn't want to overlook anything. And I know it was important to find the clue when you're canyoning through all of that. And so it just made sense. Ryan stepped up to bat and said, man, just calm down, relax. I got this. And as everyone could see, Ryan had it. And it was amazing on the ride to this challenge. It was kind of a turning point for me. I'd reflected on my father and my son. I elaborated on this. And unfortunately, I did lose my dad prior to coming back to the show. And so, again, with all the time sitting on me, I'm starting to think of my father, think of my son. And really, man, I just looked up and I said, Dad, this is, you were hard on me. You raised me in a whole different way, but man, I need you right now. And like a couple of minutes later, this just energy came over both Ryan and I was like, dude, I know I've led us into a death trap with this cheese. You're going to get this done, and we're going to get back in this. And our goal was to just get 5th place. And then once we hit land and we see who's sitting around, I'm like, bet, we're back in this. And we're not just coming for 5th. We're coming to take heads. And Ryan stepped up, and people would see on the show, I was just so distraught at this time. I'm like, man, I just can't go home. We can't lose. I'm going to be pissed if we do.
It's funny. I'm so glad that they said, I'm going to be pissed if you go home, because I'm obviously sitting there, loving every minute that like you're getting in your own head. And again, I'm only admitting this because of how strong of a team you guys were. At the same time, like my competitive nature from a fairness standpoint was like, they can't go home today, because if I'm going to win the amazing race, like I want to win like running it out with the best, and nothing against them, but in my mind I'm like, Natalia and Arun got saved twice essentially. So you saying like, I'm gonna be so pissed if we go home today, part of me was kind of like, damn, I'd kind of be a little like, I would want to know how it would run out, and yeah, you don't know, man. You don't know that day. Like, I wanted to see if you guys could overcome it. But I also wasn't gonna be mad if you
the emotion on in this show and like what you feel. It's because, guys, we were like a family. Like, I love these people, but I'm never gonna. I can take the ridicule, girls. I'm a big boy, and we deserved it. We dug ourselves a hole, and It is what it is. But Ryan,
Yeah.
thank goodness. Them big old calves, putting them suckers to work. Crawl us back out of the depths. We get to hit some pay dirt. We pass one team. Love you, Sherry. Love you, Akbar. But we needed you to do what you did and allow Ryan to get around you. So then, I know we're safe at least. It's like, okay, we know where we're going and we know we're about to go row a canoe. And so I'm like,
yeah, and I have to add, just before we move on from the roadblock, I think besides seeing where Ryan started and where he finished, I love that they had that map, because that was crazy. We were gone, so I didn't know, like, that's okay. So that's another thing, is I want to talk about my mindset leaving the roadblock, because we get there third and we actually left second. So we did pass Lulu and Lala, but I asked Raquel and she's like, oh, they're right behind us. So I was like, okay, they're good. I knew they were coming out. But yeah, it's like, I didn't know where Ryan was and you guys showed up so late. So I was still feeling great. Like, we're coming and going before you're done with the roadblock. But watching it back, I loved, like, Natalia's scream. She's like, I'm so proud of you, Dad. Because, yeah, I mean, they were eliminated. They got Brock back. They got saved in Lugano, and now they're leaving ahead of you guys. Like, her yelling, like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I felt that in my core. I was like, damn, that had to have felt good. Because, again, yeah, it felt good us passing you guys for the first time. But, yeah, so now we're going to our route info, kayaking, and again, it was in my head. I'm like, okay, this is a second physical
thank
thing.
God.
So, dude, yeah, I rewatching it in my mind, I'm like, yeah, dude, like, that was like your dad, like, I don't know, I like literally cried because I think I don't know.
The show, I will tell you,
That's a thing,
and it's
man.
honestly in the show. I'm not an emotional person. I wear my feelings on my shirt, but when it's getting into sentiment and things like this, that's very out of the normal for me to say what I said in the car talking about my father and son and being vulnerable, especially
shocked
on national TV. But this race does that to you. I don't want to say I was broke at the time, but like mentally just frazzled, and it felt good to get that off my chest because that's what I was feeling and thinking, and it correlated into something. I don't, I may not be the most spiritual person, but after I spoke about him, we stomped on the gas and started tearing some shit up. I know that, man. So he was there. I felt him, and I think Ryan did too. And so
it's just, I loved watching it back as like a fan of the show because, again, like, you and I are like the average Joes of, obviously Natalia and Arun too, but it's like, we're real people, and the emotions that we went through on this race, y'all, this was the hardest thing, we've said it multiple times, that either of us have ever done. And until you've been in our shoes and you've done it, it's so easy to sit back and watch it. So it was just, I don't know, like, seeing that emotion, like, come out of you, like, I get where that comes from, and man, it just brings a whole new person out of you going through this experience. And I mean, there's a lot riding on
tons.
it, not to mention, like, Ryan's your best friend. You don't want to let him down. And it's like the pressure of, in your mind, you were blaming yourself for picking the cheese, but I don't know.
My biggest fear the whole time was letting him down and being the one to let the team down. I mean, I think I probably speak for every contestant. Doing a roadblock, being scared alone. Oh man, don't let your team down. Or don't pick cheese. But the cheese worked out, and kayaks are right up our alley.
Yeah, so let's talk about the kayaks. One, I was pumping that thing up, man, was so hard. I just have no upper body strength. I'm like, Virgo, you gotta do this. But I don't know. I'm a Florida girl. Her and I had no issues with the kayak. I'd like to say that there was some dramatic story to tell you guys, but I was like, girl, I got this. You're the muscle in the back. I'm gonna tell you how to steer.
You guys crushed it watching it.
I was trying to catch Pin and Kim, dude. We were
Hernia
hustling, but we were just hernia. Oh my god, guys, please watch the YouTube videos. Pin got a hernia during this thing. Again, we have to, one, physically carry the canoe up these stairs. I was so mad because I was like, oh, we have to cross this river. So Raquel and I took our shoes off. And then at the very end, you had to walk through the rocks to get to Phil. So we had to stop to put our shoes back on. But no, to carry that thing and then to, canoe up or kayaked
Upriver.
upriver. Oh my god, I was in hysterics watching that video of Pin and Kim row and Lulu and Lala because dude, I've been there. Like if you ever kayak with someone who's never kayaked before, like I can't remember who was in the front, Lulu or Lala, but Lala's like left. Why are you? She's like
your left, my left, your
you.
left. What do you mean left? Yeah, so great.
That was so funny to watch back, but I don't know, like this again goes back to the 15-minute release and start times. This is the first time, other than Kim and Pin finishing, other than the team that was eliminated, everyone got to see each other at that bank pumping up the canoe. So honestly, I was like anxious watching because when Raquel and I got to the mat, we're pumped that we're in second, and before you know it, he's literally like, turn around, who do you guys think you are? And in my mind, I was like Lulu and Lala because Raquel was like, they're right behind us. So I had no doubts in my mind. I'm like, oh, it's Lulu and Lala, and I was already so excited. And then I see you guys, and I was like, holy shit balls. Like, sorry for swearing, but I literally was like, Jesus, they like literally Hulk and Superman coming through. And dude, I mean, good job. So it was funny because I started off the day not being intimidated because you guys were getting in your head. And a part of me was like, oh shit, like they literally just went from last
We
to
basically
third.
U-turned ourselves.
Like,
literally.
You
yeah,
really did.
I mean, just didn't get the cheese done.
But damn, dude, like, holy crap, you guys smoked that kayak.
I think there was a lot of energy built up. So we hit the land, you're on the bank and we have Arun and Natalia in our sights. We see that Lulu and Lala are scrambling back, which, after watching the episode, read your clue, girls, you got to leave your backpack in the car. So that bought us a little more time, but it was amazing getting to the rafts, and I'm looking over at everyone kind of pumping and they're struggling, and Ryan and I, at this point, I mean, there's blood in the water and the great whites are ready to hop in. I mean, we slammed these pumps like 3 times and this canoe is about to burst at its seam. And so, I mean, we pulled this thing up the bridge to get it over into the river like it was nothing. Something funny, and Ryan, you barely hear him, but I'm in the back, and at this point, I've made every wrong decision, and he's like, you know how to steer, right? Oh, yeah, got you, Ryan, no problem. The first, 2 minutes, we're damn near going in circles. He's like, I thought and finally...
I did
Yeah,
catch
I'm
that.
a bull in a china shop, and I just knew that we weren't getting caught on the river. I was very confident in that. My thought was, who's in front of us, and who are we going to run down? And unfortunately... You guys got in, you got the pass, you punched your ticket into the first group, but I want to tell everyone this because I'm getting, people are like, man, when you hit the beach, you were pretty worked up. The feeling that I had, I mean, it was vindication that we were dead to rights. I mean, we had no business getting back, let alone getting into third. It's just, we doubted ourselves and we rebounded, and I wanted everyone. I'm super emotional. That was real emotion, guys. I wasn't trying to be an asshole to anyone. It's just, at that moment, it was, we mean business. We said it. That was the best leg we ran. We didn't win it, but we were dead to rights. And adversity in this race, when you overcome it, it changes the game. And we've all experienced it this time, and I hadn't yet, and Ryan hadn't yet. And so it was a blessing in disguise at the time. We just didn't know. And man, it felt good. And the reason I took my life vest off, guys, is because we were dying. Ryan collapsed on the beach. That row was no joke, and it was like constricting breathing. And I have a real bad farmer's hand, and I needed to balance it out. That's the only reason I took it off, not to show off.
It's fine. I thought we were done dealing with jackasses back at the detour, but I get it. You guys wanted to show.
And I like the little barb that Raquel takes at us. They just want to show their balls. She's always got a little witty remark for me. You guys... No,
because, listen, again, as much as, there was a part of us that were like, holy shit, they could ruin this for themselves and they could be out. At the end of the day, we love you guys so much.
We're the entertainment.
Yeah, but also we had just seen you go on such an emotional roller coaster that day, and just the steam coming out, and you guys are just breathing. That's how me and Raquel deal with stuff, is humor and deflection. So we're oh, they want to show their muscles, and immediately I almost feel you just like relax a little bit. But did anyone notice the greeter? We were like, oh, he wants to show his
Yeah.
muscles. And then we look at the greeter and the greeter goes, he's like, gives a thumb up. Oh my God, that was so funny. Like, I loved that whole mat
Amazing
interaction.
experience to end it, and such a cool way to end it where we find out, we're getting to go hang out on this crazy compound. It was a beautiful setting, and
I
just
know.
like, I felt like just this savage Tarzan hooting and hollering up the river. The yelling was happening way before
Well,
that
don't
world. I
worry.
was yelling the whole way, letting everyone know, here we come. I probably scared every animal away.
You I don't know. People, I loved that episode because, again, this was the first time you guys struggled a little bit. And a lot of what the race is kind of overcoming, like, the struggles and seeing how you guys handle it. And honestly, you guys handled it well. The emotions came out, but I think that's why I love this cast, is we all want to win, and we are grinding this thing out to
And
the
so
end.
competitive, man.
Um,
My hat is off. I'm such a competitive
yeah,
person. I work at everything I can to do this, and it's like, man, they just go and go. All of you just go and don't give up and grind. And
yeah. And speaking of being good and, the end of things, I loved what Akbar said at the end. He was like, we tried our best. If you're going to run it out on the court, you got to give it your all or whatever. He's like, now we got to go give it our all and kick butt in real life. Because, damn, I mean, they're just doing some awesome things out there in the world. I really look up to him and everything that he does. And I loved them as a team. I loved them as individuals. I was worried about them when it was two physical things back to back. So I don't know if I was, like, shocked that they were eliminated. But I was sad to see them go.
they are amazing people, and like so much bigger than the Amazing Race. What they do, like helping our future,
bigger.
they really put the time and effort and everything into that. And Sherry and Akbar, I love you. You were great competitors, and I enjoyed every minute I got to spend with you guys. And you rubbed off on me. You're an inspiration. I hope I can help some kids like you guys have. You're amazing people.
You really are. So we love you guys. But another one down. So now we are going into leg
Less
7.
room for error.
And
Oof.
yeah, man. We obviously can't wait for that. But because of how emotional this one was, this is the farthest back in the pack you'll be, right? You guys are in third.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A 15-minute gap to overcome. We're gonna see.
Yeah, and I wonder if it is self-drive or if we'll be driven again. Because, man, this episode, again, you see Sherry and Akbar, Natalia and Arun, Lulu and Lala, Dusty and Ryan, all of you guys at that bank at the kayak, and holy, what a finish the last couple minutes of that episode were. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Is there anything that we missed, or any other, like, things we want to touch on before we wrap it up?
No, I mean,
Man, that was a lot to unpack. That was emotional. This
brought out the best and worst of me. I can tell you that, everyone. And I'm a proponent of saying this when anyone asks me what the Amazing Race is. It is the highest of highs, and it is absolutely the lowest of lows. Where are you going to ride on the wave, and can you get back to the middle? I mean, that's it, honestly, guys. And so this was real passion. There was barbs taken, but no, guys, at the end of the day, that we all do love each other. This is a competition, and these people are savages, and this is $1 million, and it changes people's lives. And really, I think you could ask any cast member that's left on the show at this point, winning this was almost more important than the money at this point. We've invested 2 years of our lives, and it's, the money started slipping out of my mind way before this. It was, I want to be a champion, and I want to beat these people that are really good at this. And so it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's every team down and every next leg. Like, this is time. Like you said, that we've invested. It's been 2 years. So at first it's, oh my God, we're on the Amazing Race and this is awesome. But every leg that goes down, you start getting a taste of, we can win this. And so to have it go south at any point in time, I mean, it's devastating.
Especially later in it. I mean, you got to make your mistakes early.
Yeah.
It was nerve-wracking.
Hats off to you guys. Can't wait to see cheese be in your future again.
It's off the menu forever.
Oh God. All right, guys. Well, yes, this was leg 6, Corsica. We highly encourage you guys to send us some questions via pitstoppodcast33@gmail.com. We're here for you guys. Anything you guys want to know that we can share, we'd love to answer. Make sure you give us a follow on Instagram. It's pitstop_podcast _. And again, yeah, this is Dusty Kayla. And until next week, guys.
Love you guys. See ya.
Bye.